Let's look at some examples of relative frequency. Suppose a researcher asked 25 people if they liked the taste of a new soft drink. The results are classified as yes, no, or undecided, and the results of the survey are shown below as a frequency distribution. Find the probability that a person responded yes. So mathematically, we would write P, parentheses, we're looking for the yeses. We know that probability is part out of the whole, so if we look in the chart, we see that the part of the yeses is 15 out of the total. If your chart doesn't have a total, you may need to add. So we have 15 plus 8 plus 2 gives us 25, or remember that you read in the problem that there were 25 people. Remember, relative frequency means taking real world data, often in terms of a survey or a chart like this. But remember that a fraction always has to be reduced. And so, for instance, if we divide this one by 5, we get 3/5. Or it might need to be turned into a decimal. So 3 divided by 5 would give us 0.6. Always read in your software online whether they want a simplified fraction or a decimal, which will usually be 3 decimal places. As you go along, the next slide has what is the probability Bob Smith will make his next free throw if he has made 515 free throws in 679 attempts. So once again, if we write mathematically, P is the probability of Bob, and I'm going to put FT for free throw. Now we know that there's a 50-50 chance he makes the next shot. It's either in or it's out. But if we use his past data, then we know he has made 515 out of 679. So we've got a fraction, 515 is the part on top, 679 is the total on the bottom. That fraction doesn't mean much to us. Those numbers are not easy to look at, and they actually don't reduce. So this would be one time where we would put it in the calculator, 515 divided by 679 to give us 0.758. Now, while that would be the answer you would type into the computer, always take a second and remember you could write this as a percent. If you move the decimal 2 places, we end up with 75.8%, and that gives you a better picture of whether you want Bob on your team. He's a pretty good free throw shooter, and so that almost 76% of the time success may be something that you want. Number 2 says, if a year is selected at random, what is the probability Thanksgiving will fall on a Wednesday? You might want to pause this, think about your answer for a second, and you're back. If we write P, and I'm going to put T for Thanksgiving equals Wednesday, you might have put 1 out of 7 because there are 7 days in a week, unless you remember that President Abraham Lincoln in the United States made a declaration that Thanksgiving would always be the 4th Thursday in November. So the chances of, or the probability that Thanksgiving will fall on Wednesday is 0. It can never happen. It's not just that it might not happen, but it's impossible. It will always be on a Thursday, so the probability is 0, and you want to remember and watch for that in your examples.